I guess with me bouncing between being lazy and wanting to do a review, I guess a lot of things in the world get a bit stranger, I should say.
I know.
Hello?
That was a terrible pun. Don't say it again, you hear?
Well, puns are kind of my thing, dude, so if you want to stop me, you're gonna have to kill me
I
first.
will choke the life out of you and make another pun. I'm in charge of you, and I'm stronger than you, so don't make another pun, or I'll choke the life out of you. And drop.
I don't want to mess this guy. Seriously. Hey guys, it's Daniel here. Now, there are a lot of Netflix series that I missed out on, and one of them is Stranger Things. My brother is a big fan of this show, but I never really got to see it. But a few months ago, I decided to give it a chance. So I watched the first 2 seasons, and I'm currently watching the 3rd season, and I'm going to be reviewing all 3 seasons leading up to season 4. In this video, I'll be talking about the first season of Stranger Things. So Stranger Things follows a kid named Mike who is best friends with Dustin, Will, and Lucas. But one day Will ends up going missing, but no one knows why. And so his mother, Joyce, and his brother Jonathan try to find a way to communicate with him, but nobody believes what Joyce is saying, so she's doing everything she can to find her son, while Mike, Lucas, and Dustin try to find Will over policeman Hopper's orders, as well as Mike forming a relationship with a fugitive girl who he names 11 and tries to keep her safe inside his basement from the bad man, and just a lot of stranger things going on in this town. As an introduction to the show, this first season did itself really well. I was engaged throughout the season and I wanted to see where things were going to go, because there's a lot of strange things going on in this town that I can't deny I was pretty creeped out by them. In my opinion, the best thing about this series for me has to be the characters. They did their jobs brilliantly, except for one character in particular, but most of the characters I was engaged in. Mike is such a fantastic lead. He's so immersive. He gets shy a lot, but he will do whatever it takes. But he's having to make a hard decision of whether or not to go find Will or to keep his attention on looking after 11. He doesn't know what to do, and it's causing a separate of his friends. And Finn Wolfhard gives one of the best performances he's given, because this is the boy from It. And I can't deny that their characters, both from Stranger Things and It, are totally different. In Stranger Things, he plays Mike as a very shy, awkward kind of kid with a bit of a sense of humour now and again. But in It, he plays a really loud, obnoxious, funny character who swears a lot and all that. So I can see why people like to differentiate the two. But back to the characters, I really love the character of Mike. Jonathan, I was actually surprised by him, because not only do I find him a really strong big brother looking after his little brother and trying to find him, but I was surprised that he can handle himself in a fight, because this is one scene where he's fighting Steve, and he's actually pretty strong, if not a bit stronger than Steve. I was surprised that he can handle himself. But one of the most interesting characters in the show for me has to be Joyce. I do love her determination to find her son, even if it means making up crazy excuses, but to a point where she kind of becomes terrifying. And then we have Hopper. He is kind of a jerkhole, but he does have a sympathetic backstory, which, if you don't know what it is, I'm just not going to spoil it. But we do understand his reasoning, but at the same time, we do feel like that he should be a better person. And David Harbour does a brilliant job at making the jerk-holish but also sympathetic of his character. And I'm looking forward to seeing him in Black Widow. But in my opinion, the best character in the entire show, for me, has to be Eleven. Oh my god, I love Eleven. At first, we don't really know who she is. And it's kind of funny because when I first saw her, I was like, is she a boy? I was actually surprised that she was a girl because she looked a bit like a boy. And although she doesn't say a lot in this season, it's her visual storytelling that does all the speaking than words. She is so mysterious, but at the same time she's very strong. She has the power to like move things or break people's ankles, but when she uses her powers, blood starts to come out of her nose. Man, she is such a strong lead. And the actress who plays her, I don't know how long she is, but this is probably one of the best child actresses I've ever seen in a show or film. Now, I've only seen her in Stranger Things, but she gives the character so much personality. I don't know who casted her, but they picked a brilliant choice to play the character of Eleven. And yes, the reason she's given that name is because she has the number 0 and 11 and her arm, so they decided to give her a name, or L for short. And I really want to see more of this character, more of her backstory, and see her grow throughout the show. And I ate up all the scenes that she shared with Mike. It was awkward, but flipping adorable, and I want to see what they're going to do later on in the show. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that the story is very original. It's not really, because it is a bit predictable. I mean, someone goes missing, and they're trying to figure out why, and then it turns out this whole little alien being is going on. It is a bit cliche, but I'm forgiving that because it still was interesting, and it takes many twists, turns, big reveals to get to these points, and that's what makes the story work so well. Whenever we see, like, aliens and all that, or this other dimension that Will has been trapped in, that is the point of the show I was like, oh my god, this is one of the best visual effects I've ever seen in a Netflix original series. I won't say it's as good as Lost in Space. I still think Lost in Space is one of the best visual effects in the Netflix series, and no other Netflix series has ever really come close to it. But the visual effects in Stranger Things, I thought were decently handled. But as much as I really enjoy, and I had a blast out of this first season, I do have a few issues with this season. In my opinion, the biggest problem with this first season of Stranger Things, and oh my god, this is so cringy to say, because this character, I wanted him dead like halfway through because I couldn't stand this character. And that's Lucas. Oh my god, Lucas, he is so unlikable, so despicable, lacking any likability, and very obnoxious. I mean, he is constantly complaining throughout the entire season, blaming Eleven for problems that wasn't her fault, always blaming his friends, making fun of his friends, or bullying Eleven and all that. That makes me want Lucas to be getting rid of, because he is such a completely selfish jerk who is constantly blaming Eleven and trying to convince Dustin and Mike to get Eleven off the team because he feels like, she's just ruining everything, and everything is being ruined and we're not looking for Will. I'm going to look for Will. Screw you guys. Oh my god. There are some parts where he could have died, and trust me, there are a lot of opportunities for him to die in this season I couldn't care about, because I just couldn't care about this character. He didn't develop, and it really made me angry. In fact, the scene where Eleven uses her powers to drag him around and make him hit his head off the ball, I was like, yeah, he deserved that, you jerk. Such a douche. Sorry, it's just that this character is so unlikable and so despicable, and I couldn't care less about this character. And honestly, if you were to take him out, it would have been much better. So, that was the biggest problem with the season. I hate this character so much. In the first season. What do I mean by that? I'll talk about that in a separate video. And the last issue I had with the season is that there are some scenes that I thought were forced or very awkward. I mean, and that little love triangle between Jonathan, Steve, and Mike's sister, Nancy, I thought that was pretty forced and not really that interesting. But I know it seems like I'm a bit underwhelmed by this review, but I just wanted to get out of the way. And those scenes, they're not really a big problem. They're just little minor ones. But I really couldn't stand Lucas. He was a complete douche. He's one of the biggest douchebag characters I've ever seen in a Netflix series. I can't believe I'm still talking about it. I should be done. I flipping hate his character in the first season. Besides those problems, I had a blast watching Stranger Things Season 1. It had me engaged, the characters are likeable, 11 being my favourite, and there are some scenes that had me terrified and wanting the characters to make it out alive. And that's why I'm going to give it a 4.5 stars out of 5. I thought it was one heck of a season. If you are a big fan of Stranger Things, just rewatch it. And I will try to do a review of Season 2. But anyway, what do you think of Stranger Things Season 1? Did you love it? Did you really like it as much as I did? And were you engaged with the characters? Or were you bored by it and you hated it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you hate Lucas as much as I did? And I want to ask you a question, what is your favourite Netflix original series? Or what is your favourite Netflix horror? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will try to get my review of Sonic the Hedgehog, or my top 10 favourite Pixar films leading up to Onward, and I will try to get my review of Season 2 of Lost in Space and Stranger Things done. Oh, I got a lot to do. But anyway, I've done your review, movies, TV shows, doing videos, and thinking about the Stranger... Sorry. Stranger Things. Till then, peace out, man, and don't forget to subscribe.
You know I can still hear you, Daniel. Now I'm gonna do something I should have done a long time ago.